Warning, this video may contain violence, sexual themes, and a lot of swearing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Way late to the trend, but finally gonna use this filter. Let's see what we got. Smash.
Guess you know my future, right? I mean, how often do you get a chance like this? There are some things I gotta know. For instance, my marriage. Am I doing the right thing marrying Beatrice? Do we grow old together? You're gonna love her until the day you die. Maybe I don't need to know any more than that.
What is one homebrew rule that you have always followed and you think everybody should know about? I'll go first. In D&D 5e, critical hits, natural 20s, sometimes feel a little meh. What I mean to say is that for a natural 20, you roll the damage die twice, and whatever that damage is, you add your dexterity or strength modifier, and then that's the damage. But what if you roll the first damage die like a regular damage die, and then the second one is always at least average? So if you're rolling a d8, you would at least get a 5 on your second damage roll. That makes natural 20s feel like critical hits. Make sure to like and follow.
Who made this?
Give me the athletics check. The more shit you make up, the higher the DC.
Drogar got a 12.
I got a 5.
Oh boy, hang on, loading.
You cracked the case!
Did it look like this? Absolutely. Here's the line. Here, oh yeah. In your rooms, you hear Kaz's shout. The sword in your hands again. It's like, oh, it crits. 10 slashing damage.
Oh, stop hitting yourself.
Fuck me, I need to fucking break this sword.
Maybe I could just try to like drive it far enough into the floor that it can pull itself back out.
Great.
13.
The tip hits the wood, it sort of like skitters away. Again, it just kind of goes whipping around.
I'm gonna try to grab a hand axe.
At which point Artie busts in.
Kaz, what the hell's going on?
The sword's alive!
That is a 20.
Yes, sir.
Snaring strike. I'll mutter some Elvish. My bow will light up a little green, and when I release it, when it strikes, thorns pop out and entangle the arrow.
And as she's trying to calm herself down, she picks up the individual pieces and just chucks each one into the walls around the room, and the hilt she throws out the window. If the window's closed, she fucking shatters the glass. How many swords am I going to go through?
It's improv Q&A time. Haunted Hollow asked, have you ever had a moment where two players accidentally got in each other's way somehow when trying to work together, and was it a disaster? This is a great question, and it highlights a pretty big difference between improv-based play and what you might expect to see in a D&D campaign. If your average D&D game is like playing chess, improv is a lot more like playing ping pong. In chess, you want to think ahead, trying to plan 2 or 3 steps ahead of your opponent, and the rules of D&D are great for that kind of play. But in ping pong, all you can do is focus on where the ball is the moment before you're supposed to hit it. Because if you're busy trying to plan ahead, next thing you know, the ball's already behind you because it wasn't where you expected it to be. Ping pong requires you to be a lot more adaptable than chess, and improv is the same way. So how do we stay adaptable and avoid these disasters? We trust our friends. In improv, we have sort of a social contract where whenever one of our friends adds a new building block to the story, we accept that as the truth of the story and trust that it was the best decision for the story. Even if it was completely different than what we would have done, we drop our idea because we trust our friends. And when everybody does that, that's when the magic of improv happens. When we play like this, there is no getting in each other's way because we know we're all going the same way. So back to the original question, have I seen those disastrous moments? Yes, I have, mostly in my D&D games. And that's part of the fun of D&D. In my improv games, we get moments that could lead to disaster, but we find a way to make it work because we adapt and we trust each other. That's how improv works. Thanks for the question, Haunted Hollow. I hope that helps. And until next time, much love and stuff, everybody.
Father, I'm coming home. I'll follow you into the park, through the jungle.
Alright, y'all set?
Yeah.
Let's get rolling then. It's a 5.
It was nice meeting you guys. Bye.
You're not the guy to make the sacrifice play. You know, you may not be a threat, but you better stop pretending to be a hero.
A hero? Like you? You're a laboratory experiment, Rogers. Everything special about you came out of a bottle.
Let's review the D&D Druid subclass, Circle of the Moon. The player's handbook describes them beautifully. They are fierce guardians of the wilds. Their order gathers under the full moon to share news and trade warnings. They haunt the deepest parts of the wilderness, where they might go for weeks on end before crossing paths with another humanoid creature, let alone another druid. This subclass is very interesting to me. I feel like you could play this a lot of different ways, ranging from edgelord to mysterious to mystic. Could be really fun. In the beginning, when you wild shape into another creature, you can do it as a bonus action instead of an action. Also, the level of animal you could turn into, the CR level, is higher than a typical druid's. Later, your attacks in your wild shape form count as magical. At a higher level, when you expend 2 uses of your wild shape, you can become an elemental, not just an animal. At the highest level, you can cast Alter Self on yourself at will. While druids provide great utility for a group, I feel like this subclass is underrated because the combat abilities by wild shaping is amazing.
This is too high. I will stand a bit. Hello TikTok. I'm joining you from behind this large DM screen because I'm about to DM the first session of my new campaign, which is the first campaign I have ever run, which is very exciting, very nerve-wracking. I can't wait. My players are arriving in like 10 minutes should be now. They're probably gonna be late. So I'm gonna give this a little chance to like show off what my setup looks like. So here's my table. It's very empty just now. You can see my screen, the little stag that we have, because we all need a mascot. But where the magic happens is all behind here, behind my screen. We've got lots going on here. We've got my little Warlock tumbler, lovingly sent to me by D&T, who I love, go check them out. We've got all my journals here, because I'm not sure which one to use yet. We'll find out. I've got all my dice, which are all very character-based, but we're not going to talk about that yet, because they've not met the characters. Yeah, I've got my laptop with all my notes ready to go.
Small hairs to grow from your hands and feet? No. Hair loss? No! Lots of emotions? Well, I mean,
Mega kind of running over to help Mitsuki is gonna kind of put a hand on Kadir's shoulder and is gonna use Emboldening Bond.
Sweet. Is that a wisdom save? Wisdom save. Wisdom save. Oh, that's not good. That's just a 3, straight up 3. He failed! He failed!
1d6. Oh yeah. 4 piercing damage and it needs... Does it do a save to get those?
It doesn't matter. How do you want to do this?
No move.
Do you want me to look at it? If you want.
No makes sense.
Okay, D&D TikTok, this is a real question. If your character met you with full knowledge of everything that, you know, you had written them up, you had drafted their backstory, you were playing them in a D&D campaign, if they met you, how would they respond? Would they try to become friends with you? Would they try to, like, get to know you so that they could understand parts of themselves? For me personally, I think my lore bard would batter me with psychic energy until I was on the ground, just so she could have like an easier target when she attempted to decapitate me. It wouldn't go well for me. She would definitely murk me, but I want to know about you guys. What would your characters do?
Hello.
and welcome to Half-Baked Questlines, where I give you an unfinished questline for your RPG so that you can fill in the blanks, and I don't have to do that. Today, we have the premise for a dungeon crawl, and a spooky one. See, this is going to be a dungeon that never should have been unearthed. In fact, when the mining team that found it broke down the wall of the underground temple, only one of them made it back out alive. And that one miner will insist that the only thing that kept them alive was the candle that they had with them. Other miners had torches and lanterns, but didn't do them any good. So naturally, your players should bring some candles with them when they go down into the dungeon. And this would be a good time to turn off the lights and put actual candles in front of all the players. For once they are in the underground dungeon, they will find themselves being hunted. The whole time, there will be something in the shadows at the edge of the candlelight. Sometimes they might see it out of the corner of their eye. Sometimes they might hear it. But this being is patient, and it will wait until one of the characters' candles goes out. At which point, you should roll a lot of dice. I'm talking enough dice that if they don't get their candle lit by the second turn, they might die. This thing should be terrifying, and made all the more terrifying by the fact that this dungeon is full of traps and encounters designed to blow out those candles. And if any of your players breathe too hard or move too fast and one of the candles goes out, uh-oh. And when the candle finally burns down all the way to the bottom, that's a good time to ask the characters, did you bring any extra?
Rolling a d20 is not representative of your character's skill. It is representative of the things your character cannot control. Rules like passive ability checks for every single skill, taking a 10, taking a 20. If you spend 10 minutes on the thing, you can automatically do it as best as possible. Rules like that exist because people use the d20 currently to represent your character's skill. It makes you feel ridiculous when your barbarian character rolls a 2 and can't break down the door. That 2 is not representative of your barbarian's strength. The 2 is representative of the impact it had on the door. Not going, you're going, oh shit, that's a strong door. If the wizard fails a history check, it's not that the wizard can't remember it, perhaps it's that the wizard was never taught it. It's not a, suddenly I can't remember. It's a, I have never seen this in my life.
I had the worst idea for a D&D character the other day. I want to be a lawful evil cleric who operates the same way as the American healthcare system. So if my party needs healing, I can be like, ooh, your policy only covers slashing, piercing, and bludgeoning damage. If you want me to heal that necrotic damage, I'm going to need 300 gold.
Alpha Websites You Should Know, Part 152. Did you know if you go to this website, you can use all these RPG sounds for your next D&D game, or if you just want to relax, you can add some music, get ready for combat, and even use these cool effects. I just leveled up.
Our holy war against the Nightskins will never end!
So I did something really cool, and I think you're really gonna like it. I wrote and designed a playable race in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition called Nightskins. And y'all, I'm so fucking proud of them. So essentially they were persecuted peoples, that were blessed by a goddess named Celestia and given the power of the night sky. Once per day, they can manifest this power by covering their entire bodies in what would look like a starry sky. Their hair changes, their eyes glow white, and they can manifest the guardian star's power that they were born under, aka their zodiac sign. So there's 12 different abilities that you can choose from that would manifest as a zodiac sign. And I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's really cool. If you want to play it, it's on my Ko-fi. Pay what you want, so you don't have to pay a dime. Right there. Love you.
And you're just,
she's
I'm gonna get waffles while my friend is dead and the other one's having a mental breakdown. I've got the oil.
Okay, give me the oil, And he starts to start the ritual, and he's just like, it's not working.
What do you mean It's
not working. It's not working. The spell, Okay,
Is
wait.
she like dead, or?
That's not the spell word. The spell, unless she's been dead for 500 years. Then, well, no, it's. That's not the spell. She should.
No, I got the oil for this.
Flynn!
Flynn! Iris is dead!
Iris is dead!
Oh, I know.
What?
It's.
Did you kill her?
Did you kill her? What the
Kill her!
Was it like a thing? Did she like dare you to kill her? She come back to life or something?
She's got like a condition right now. And
That condition is dead!
She's dead! This is no time for jokes, damn it!
I was just getting waffles.
What's in the bag? Waffles. Hey, hold
You're
on.
not getting waffles?
Can you tell me this before you talk about the waffles,
What's in
please?
the bag? It's waffles.
Is it?
It's waffles.
Is it?
No insight check. It's straight up waffles.
What condition does she have?
Oh, she had like this thing where she wasn't as like stealthy anymore, and so instead she was.
So
just, like,
you
caught.
killed her?
No, I didn't kill her.
You were jealous, you thought she was hotter!
No,
You were jealous. Everybody knows that Iris is a fat dumpy. You wanted to have the fattest dumpy. You kind of like glances at the corpse, like, but like not caring enough and not weird enough to check.
I mean, we had a plan. I don't know what she did to herself. She was going to get waffles for both of us.
But
I don't believe
she had a plan.
What was the plan?
Suicide?
Well, you see, you can get rid of the condition.
How are you so
1,000%.
calm?
Because she's not dead. Like,
She's
I beg to fucking differ!
There's a lot of lore that they got rid of in D&D, right? Dungeons & Dragons has been around for a lot of years, so they rehash and change lore. But there's some lore that I feel like should still be in the game. Like, I've discovered it by looking through, like, old things like this. Okay, here is the Forgotten Realms book Player's Guide campaign from the 2nd edition, right? And yeah, Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd edition. And, you know, there are some things in D&D that absolutely could be taken out, but this lore on elves is absolutely wild. Okay, hang on, ready? Esta Starchild, Elven Princess. This is about the anatomy of elves. Their delicately tapered fingers and hands are half again as long as those of humans. Why did we not keep that? Why did it get rid of? I feel like this has wild and wonderful implications for the LGBT community, and it was just taken out. I learned about this during Pride Month.
We're gonna go now.
Sorry, okay, bye.
Okay, I'm gonna explain this one more time, okay? This is a container. This is a cup, okay? If you were to cast Create Destroy Water, you would either fill this or empty this of water. Are we clear? Say yes if we're clear.
Yes.
I am not a container! You cannot create destroy water in a human body!
Okay.
No buts!
Is a straw a container?
No!
You put your finger on the
I'm
end.
gonna take away all of your levels, I swear to God.
So about the straw. Is it one hole all the way through or 2 holes at each end?
Alright, listen.
He does last straw.
I'm done. I'm done. Alright, finish the game on your own.
Hey, DM, do you have room at your table for one more player?
Yeah, always. Come on, grab a chair.
Thanks, I kinda needed to pick me up after my campaign kicked me out.
I'm sorry, did you say you were kicked out?
Yep.
Okay, first off, how in the flying flump did you get kicked out of a campaign? You are like the most nicest player I've ever had at my table. Seriously, you don't even try to cause chaos. You fix the chaos your party has made. Do you know how rare that is? You're a goddamn unicorn!
Well, when I asked the DM if they had a consent checklist, they all laughed at me and said I was one of those woke D&D players.
Well, that's a giant flumpin' red flag there.
When I told the DM I wanted to play a goblin bard character who sells flowers, they said no because goblins are an evil race and they would never go do anything nice like selling flowers.
That's grosser than Tiamat's butthole.
When I asked if the DM could move past the scene that was triggering me, they said shut up and be a man and kept going on with it.
Where do they play?
Roll for initiative, bitch.
If you play Dungeons & Dragons and you know a veteran, send them this video. All right, military nerds, here we go. Show this to your chain of command for some Dungeons & Dragons free pass. Oh yeah. Greetings, my name is Major Anthony Joyce Rivera, and it's come to my attention that you have a Dungeons & Dragons player in your formation. I'm hereby evoking my authority as a field grade officer and a Dungeon Master to ensure that they get the proper amount of time to prep for their campaign this weekend. Those soldiers are therefore authorized early release from work this weekend, and their place of duty will be the Dungeons & Dragons gaming table. If you do not outrank me, too bad, these are the rules. If you do outrank me, this is just a joke, so totally forget about it. In any case, let your soldiers play Dungeons & Dragons. It's a great time.
Hello there, traveler. Come with me on a special look at the Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves Tavern experience. This event was free to the public during San Diego Comic-Con, and it was amazing. Let me take you on a bit of a walkthrough so you can see the adventure that was on the inside. When you step through the doors, you'll find a hall of monsters where you can see several classic monsters from Dungeons & Dragons, such as the Beholder, the Mimic here, and even this very, very cute little Displacer beast. At the bar, the Dragon's Brew is flowing. Everyone that walked through the tavern got a free drink, an ice-cold pint to quench the summer sun. It was very, very good. My favorite part, though, was seeing so many amazing friends, old and new.
And Brian's here too.
Good morning, Tuesday. Yes. Cheers.
The crew and the staff of the tavern made the event absolutely wonderful and immersive. You had to be there. And if you were lucky, you'd get a chance to meet a Red Wizard of Thay. It led to a secret initiation room. Little Easter egg here, but the horn and costumes were from the Dungeons & Dragons movie, which I thought was pretty amazing. And of course, no tavern experience would be complete without a visit from a black dragon. Because of course. Thank you Paramount and D&D for this wonderful experience, and for allowing me to have a small part in it. It was an honor to have a hand in creating the Dragon's Brew, and it was so much fun to be interviewed by IGN. It was definitely a first for me. Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves flies to theaters March 2023. Hope to see you then.
There were 12 other groups, just like yours. Comrades in arms, just like you. Prodigious fighters, just like you. Armed to the teeth, with weapons and potions and spells, just like you. 12 groups of fools who believed they could band together and defeat me. 12 groups of fools who believed they wouldn't make the same mistakes as those who came before them. 12 sets of shallow graves left unmarked. What precisely makes you think that you will be anything other than Group 13?
Hey D&D TikTok, I just moved and I've got a new office, so I figured I'd show it to you guys. It's a converted garage space that I had all finished up here. It's where I'll be streaming from. I got all my books, all that sort of good stuff. I'll be streaming right here from my desk. I gotta get some real curtains hung up and all that sort of stuff. But I'll be streaming here for Founders and Legends Day, which is Saturday the 30th and Sunday the 31st at GaryCon Live, or twitch.tv GaryCon Live. So join me. I'm going to be running some D&D and raising money for Extra Life. So come join me at 1 p.m. all the way till about 10 p.m. Pacific. We'll see you there.
I am so tired. I'm so tired. I'm a professional GM, right? And the amount of people who don't read the description of my games before they join them is just mind-blowing. Here is the first sentence in one of my campaign descriptions. This is a campaign about survival and loss, about continuing to fight even when all seems lost. Later on in the description, it reads, 2 years ago, everything fell apart. Millions have fallen to infernal forces, and what little survivors remain risk everything just to get by. So I would hope just those 3 sentences would be able to begin to inform character ideas for people. Just in case that wasn't enough, in the character creation, it says, characters will be among the few survivors of an apocalypse-like event that began 2 years ago. How does your character feel? How have they survived? Do they have hope? Are they filled with sorrow and regret? Most importantly, who and what has your character lost? Pretty clear instruction on the kinds of characters that should be in this campaign. The kind of story that is being told. And this fucking player who joined this morning sends me a backstory that just has nothing to do with anything that I've written. He's asked no questions about the game or the world, and he's just started talking about factions and temples, and ooh, he still has a contract out on him. Oh, there's a contract out on your character? Everyone's fucking dead. Who's carrying out the contract? If you are a player, and the DM gives you a prompt, do the bare minimum and read the fucking prompt. I'm so tired of this shit.
Would I run D&D for this player, Gals Edition? I would have to talk with her a few times to let her know, like, hey, I love these pranks, but they're getting a little bit out of control and you're not taking player consent into account. But overall, I think she would learn if you just talk with her once or twice. She would need some time, but yeah, like, she would think it's dumb at first, but then once she gets into it, she really gets into it. And then she would make, like, the hottest characters, of course. Ooh, I would like to. Would she be a good player, though? Probably. She's probably there to have a good time and, like, hang out with her friends and enjoy them having a good time. She would play along if prompted. I don't know that she'd be great on her own. She needs someone to bounce off of. Oh yeah, she'd be into it. She'd be into all the world building. She'd be into all the characters. This is a player I want in my game. She engages with everything. And she would, like, tie in her backstory so well. Yeah, I think so. She would be, like, too engaged. Like, so engaged that she forgets she's supposed to be a player as well. And I would have to prompt her. But yeah, she would be really, really into lore, though. Super into lore. Yeah, kind of similar to Rapunzel. She would be into it. I think maybe a little less enthusiastic than Rapunzel. This is the average good player. And I would not mind having her at my table. It's a good player. Yeah. Yes, she does art. She does art, she draws, she takes notes, she pays attention. She might not make the most engaged characters, but she is engaged. And also, her characters are all cool. Yeah. Yes, she's a great player. She's a great role player. She makes great characters. She knows how to set the scene. And she knows how to yes and the scene and enhance it and make it better. Yes, but I feel like she's a bit of a power gamer. I would have to talk with her. If she crossed the line, I would tell her to stop. And if she kept crossing the line, I would kick her out. Yes. She would be a power gamer who would understand. She would try and make a powerful character, but she would include, like, flaws on purpose. She would also opt to have like low stats if all her stats were too high. She doesn't. She's on her phone. She doesn't care. She's texting. She's looking at memes. She takes way too long in combat. No. Sorry. No. She brings snacks. She's like an audience member. Yeah, she's alright, sure. You know, gotta have an audience member. Yes. 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 Good.
Like the ancient wizard kings of old, your character has been granted a floating city above the clouds. What do you name this city, and how does your character rule it? Your city is extremely diverse, with every official playable race in D&D being represented here. You may move the city, but you may not land the city. And, like the ancient Netherese, your city is certainly going to be the target of dragons. Comment, stitch this, and most importantly, if you share, that means the person you shared this to, that means your kingdom is going to fight their kingdom. Absolutely. I always like share fights. I don't know why. Really should make a list of all these cities, put them together, and then have a new Netherese empire. Ooh.
Beakeline is the largest live-action roleplay in North America, where you can engage in enormous battles. One of the first questions I had was, how will I know when I've been hit or if I'm dead? The folks at the Voyage North and my buddy Ricard taught me the rules of hits and deaths, so here they are. A hit is touching someone with your weapon hard enough to where they can feel it. A hit for someone not wearing armor would be light, to someone wearing plate armor would be firmer so they can feel it. Your objective is never to hurt anyone. Speaking of manners, no face or groin shots. If you hit someone there, it doesn't count. However, soft taps on the top of the head are acceptable. If you're wearing no armor, you have no protection. If you get hit once in the arm or leg, you can no longer use that limb. If you get hit anywhere else that isn't a limb, you're dead. However, if you're wearing leather armor, you can take 2 hits before you lose a limb or die. If you're wearing plate armor, you can take 3 hits before losing a limb or dying. And your armor has to be made of real metal or leather. Foam and other materials don't count. When you get hit where your armor doesn't cover, it counts as a non-protective area, and if a monster hits you once, you're dead. It doesn't matter what kind of armor you're wearing. Shields are indestructible, except if it's hit by cannon or ballista fire. If that happens, you're dead. A good habit is to touch someone 3 times. When your adrenaline is pumping, you might not see that they're protected by armor. You're in charge of keeping track of your own armor and whether or not you're hit. When you die, quickly flip over your weapon so the business end is facing the ground. Hold it up so people can see and take a knee. When you're dead, it's bad manners to talk about tactics or battle plans. You can talk about other things, but not the battle. However, you can respond to a healer if they ask you if you're dead. Healers are given a small hourglass that keeps track of heal time. If a healer doesn't come by, stay knelt down until the game marshal gives you permission to go respawn. Go to the respawn point and get back in the game.
Here's a campaign idea. All of history has fallen under the control of the Hourglass Coven, a sisterhood of hags who have learned how to communicate with themselves across time. With the aid of the last surviving Archmage from the future, your characters are racing through time, collecting relics from the past, getting powerful allies in the future, and mustering their forces in the present. What makes this complicated, though, is that if the characters travel to a point in the past, anything before that point in time is destroyed once they return to the present, and if they go to the future, anything beyond that point is also destroyed once they return to the present. So the present is the only fixed, safe point in time they can return to. And the only way to reverse all of these effects and restore time is to defeat the Hourglass Coven. What cool ideas would you add to this campaign?
12. There were 12 other groups, just like yours. Comrades in arms, just like you. Prodigious fighters, just like you. Armed to the teeth, with weapons and potions and spells, just like you. 12 groups of fools who believed they could band together and defeat me. 12 groups of fools who believed they wouldn't make the same mistakes as those who came before them. 12 sets of shallow graves left unmarked. What precisely makes you think that you will be anything other than Group 13?
Healing potions have to be carbonated. If they're not, then you have to stop defending yourself mid-fight to uncork it and drink it. But if they're carbonated, you can... At world building, people, you have sodas in D&D now.
I'm a DM for Dungeons & Dragons, and these are the homebrew rules that I implement into every single one of my campaigns, and I think you should too, because they objectively make sense. I always give my characters a free common magic item at character creation as long as it doesn't have any combat value. So no orbs of shielding or anything like that, but most of them are cosmetic. So it gives people a good opportunity to work it into their character backstory, and a lot of them can be used for roleplay opportunities. This is also an alternative to the trinkets table, because if we're being fully honest, no one even remembers that they have trinkets once we start playing. And this is a good way to give people something that is unique to them without actually off-balancing the game in any way. Second off is super common, but if you drink a magic potion during combat, it is a bonus action, not an action. Feeding it to someone else, still an action, that makes sense, but this way the action economy is a lot more balanced when you have something like a bag of holding, which takes an action to take something out of it. So that way you can spend your action pulling a potion out, your bonus action drinking it, and then you're good to go. And if you don't have a bag of holding or your potions are just like on your hip somewhere, that still makes it so that you aren't burning your entire turn essentially just trying to stay alive. I also use modified flanking rules in my campaign, where instead of giving you advantage when you're flanking against an enemy with someone, you get a +1. And this is actually really important because there's so many other mechanics in the game that give you advantage during combat, especially spells and things like that, that if you can get those just by standing across from your buddy, it invalidates that whole process. So instead we give you a +1. This next one's controversial, but if you sit with a magic item over the course of a short rest, you do not get to automatically know what that magic item does without using the identify spell just because you meditated on it. That's weird, and it goes contrary to the entire idea of an identify spell and basically makes that spell and the cost associated with it useless. So we don't do that. Instead, you do have to use the identify spell, or you can bring it to almost any shopkeeper in any of my towns, and they'll be able to do it for you for a small fee, just to keep things balanced. My campaigns, I also make it so that if you have a highly specific magic component needed for a spell, you do actually have to go get that item. The best examples of these are like a little ivory statue of yourself or some dirt from some place that you're trying to locate. Technically, per the rules, those would be covered by your holy symbol or your component pouch or what have you, but instead, because of how specific those items are, I usually say you do have to go get them yourself. And it might be a whole quest, maybe you have to, figure out a way to steal it from a collector, or you might just be able to go down to the corner store and buy some. It depends on how I'm feeling that day. Those are the biggest ones I can think of, so if you guys have any other suggestions, ones that you've heard online or that you use in your own campaigns, definitely let me know in the comments because I would love to hear from you.
This is what your favorite Dungeons & Dragons multiclass says about you. You have never actually played Dungeons & Dragons. Your favorite spell is Fireball, and what could be better than casting it twice? No, I too can't stand the idea of creating a new character, so this one has to live forever. Buddy, I get it. Big numbers make brain go burr. But have you considered making friends? You are someone with impeccable taste who truly understands that Tenacious D's The Pick of Destiny is a timeless classic that deserves to be talked about in the pantheon of the great fantasy epics like Lord of the Rings, but fueled by the power of metal.
It's D&D night. Here's my setup as a DM. Gotta have enough seats for everybody. Of course, we need a trusty DM screen. In my campaign notebook, I have my sheets that I hang up on my DM screen. My campaign notebook has any information I might need that's not found on my iPad. Got my trusty dice tray along with my campaign-specific dice, all ocean-themed, and our fate dice. I use my computer for ambiance music and other notes. Got some great minis picked out for encounters today, along with some props. We have our encounter rings, and also our spell templates. Our character names that go up on the DM screen for initiative order. Gotta have writing utensils. I keep resource books nearby. We have multiple giant battle mat books by Loki Battle Mats, use them every session, the group's ship, and of course our character minis, most are painted. And we are ready to go.
Okay, we can proceed. You'd like some potions? Perfect. Potions I have. Invisibility, perhaps. Works for 1 hour. You're close to. Potion of heroism. You'll feel stronger than you ever have. Or maybe a potion of watchful rest. All the benefits of sleep. No wasted time. Buy all 3 and I'll throw in a potion of healing. Deal. Pleasure doing business.
Let's talk about a magical item I came up with for Dungeons & Dragons. This is the Book of Reading. It is a wondrous magical item. This tome is full of seemingly endless blank pages. If you were trying to flip through it cover to cover, you would never reach the end. If this book is held against any book, it will copy the contents of it into itself. This book copies 1,000 pages in 12 hours, 500 pages in 6 hours, or approximately 300 words per minute. Drawings and pictures can also be copied into the book, but take 3.5 minutes to do so, because a picture is worth 1,000 words. Once something is copied into the book, the person who initiated the copy simply has to think about it, open the book, and the words will appear in front of them. Infinite pages can be torn out of the book, but once they are, they simply turn into mundane, plain paper. Any words that were on the page that was torn from the book instantly vanish the second it is torn from the book. Only the person who initiated the copying of the text can read the copied text, but others can read it over their shoulder. The same goes for words you write in it yourself. If your player is using this as their private journal, no one can then steal it and read what they wrote. Only the person who wrote it can. If this tome is used to copy another book that is magical in nature or is meant to boost player stats, so you know, like the books that you read it and then you get a +1 to charisma or whatever the fuck, or just like it's a spell book or something like that, the words will be copied, any magical effects won't. You can't use this to dupe magical books. And of course, if the player should so choose, they can open the book and set it on fire. The infinite pages will burn forever until extinguished or the book is closed. So you can use it as like a portable little campfire. And there you go. This is basically just a magical Kindle. I'm sure the wizards are gonna fucking go nuts for it. Happy questing.
Here are 4 ways to make D&D characters sound different without changing your accent. If you'd like to play someone who's known for being a little more slippery, try lilting some of your words between pitches and luxuriating in some of the sounds by extending the vowels. Try utilizing a slightly higher pitch and a broken tempo to indicate a character that's unsure of themselves and shy. Next, you can try dropping your tone down and speaking in a very direct manner, where the consonants at the ends of your words are quite clipped and deliberate, to indicate a character that is stern and an authority figure. By keeping your character's base level talking speed quite fast and their rhythm quite staccato, while also swallowing your volume just a little bit, you can paint the picture of a character who is a little more highly strung and interested in getting their information out quickly and efficiently with as few people hearing as possible. And bonus tip, if you haven't realized just by watching this video, the way in which you move your body also impacts the sound of your voice. So if you can't get a voice just thinking about it, try a different posture, try a different way of sitting, or try a different kind of rhythm with your body and see how that impacts your voice.
Let's talk about an idea I had for Dungeons and Dragons. Imagine, if you will, a reality in which you have friends and actually managed to play an entire campaign of D&D. It's been several years, you've brought the entire party up to level 20, you finished the final quest, and you're just not ready to say goodbye yet. It's time for you to move on, make all new characters, but you want to give your party one last hurrah in this world. And so I come to you, good people, with this pitch. Campaign Plus. It's just New Game fucking Plus for your Dungeons and Dragons campaign. You restart, you go back to session fucking 1, but all of your party is level fucking 20. They've essentially been transported all the way back in time to the first fucking session, and y'all just get to go ham. That adorable orphan that you guys adopted around level 3 that ended up being a horrible lich in the end, you could track that motherfucker down and rip his head off. That evil queen who turned out to actually be really fucking chill and was just being mind controlled by the royal sommelier? Well, now you can track that motherfucker down too! And the goddamn troll that killed the talking dog that you guys adopted with that voice that was really hard for the DM to do? You can make him pay for his crimes! Seriously though, this would be like 1, maybe 2 sessions long because y'all are so fucking OP, you could just fly through the entire campaign, kill the entire evil cult before they're able to summon their ancient sea god. I think this idea would just be just a really fucking fun thing for a part. Just one last, fuck it, nothing matters, balls to the wall, let's just have fun couple of sessions. And you as the DM barely have to prep because you can just fucking go back to your old notes and whoop out all the old encounters. This is a chance for you to take a break and for the party to fucking have an absolute blast of a fucking time. Because what is your job as a DM if not to just let your players have some fucking fun? Happy questing.
I think you invited me on this show for one reason and one reason only, and that's because you know that I'm staunchly opposed to anything but theater of the mind being used in these games.
Horse potatoes!
No, sir. Battle maps, take a hike. Get them out of here. No hexes, no squares, no nothing. We play these games in the field of the mind, and in the mind they shall remain.
Great. And what I love about that take, Ross, is there's nothing that whisks me away more to lands of myth and legend than a 30-minute conversation about where exactly these 5 guards are. That does it for me.
Oh, yes, of course. And I, too, am immersed in a realm of fantasy, majesty, and wonder when my dungeon master unrolls a piece of dry erase plastic.
God damn!
And I am suddenly intoxicated with the fumes of an expo marker.
What's stopping you right now from playing D&D?
Maybe you're new and aren't even sure where to begin learning all of the rules.
Or maybe you're like literally everyone and come face to face with the real BBEG.
Scheduling issues.
Try startplaying.games.
Countless games, systems, and GMs waiting for you to fill their seats.
And yes, they even take care of the scheduling. New to D&D? Have an experienced and beginner-friendly DM guide you through a dungeon, teaching you everything you need to know along the way. Experienced player looking to fill your off week because someone has to go on vacation? Hop into a one-shot with like-minded adventurers. Or maybe you want to try something other than D&D. Startplaying.games covers all sorts of different systems. We all just want to play some games together. So why not start now at startplaying.games.